world, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world.
This is the Wrestling Matters podcast where we stand up for professional wrestling.
Here we fucking go!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker. Welcome to this very special extra podcast, I guess you could say, that I'm doing. The aim from this podcast, guys, is to do Extreme Rules review, okay? Because Extreme Rules was this past Sunday. I managed to watch it the next day because I was very tired and very sleepy. I didn't get to watch the pay-per-view live, so I watched it the next day, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it live. But I'll get to that later on, guys, because I want to talk as well about this whole situation involving YouTube. I want to do it in this podcast, okay? So you're going to get a double bill today. You're going to get the Extreme Rules review, and I'll do that later. But I want to shoot on this whole deal with YouTube and the whole situation over the weekend with World Culture and WCPW and that, and YouTube being totally out of control. Let's just tell it like it is. They really are out of control with this. For those of you that don't know, they have deemed wrestling offensive and not ad friendly on YouTube. So there's a lot of wrestling YouTubers or people on YouTube, I guess you could say, that do wrestling content, like people like JD from New York and people like, you know, Luge Mania and Luge PS3, whatever her name is, on there as well, and people like that. They do wrestling content, but it's getting deemed as non-advertise friendly. Wrestling, what you've got to understand is, people, is wrestling is considered an art form, and it is. What is so fucking offensive about wrestling? It is an art form, and JD from New York, as well as Adam Blumpier and people like that, are spot on in what they say. Wrestling brings people together, not in a form of hate, okay? Not in a form of hate. It brings people together, you know, like promotions all over the world, like say ICW, they have their own fan base. WCPW have their own fan base. People get to go to functions, like say, for example, WrestleMania weekend, for example, the Access shit, you know, and go to all these functions and stuff like that, because it brings people together, you know, it brings wrestling fans together, people who love this beautiful thing we call professional wrestling, or sports entertainment, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I call it pro wrestling, because wrestling matters. And you've got YouTube, who deem it offensive content and non-advertised friendly, and it's costing people who look to make an income from this on YouTube money. And because of this, WCPW is now in dire straits over this, because they've relied on YouTube to do this, and YouTube to use this platform to get their stuff over and build a fan base and build a community of wrestling fans. Now they're in shit, because over the weekend, and I mentioned this on the podcast as well, episode 166, go and check it out. Over the weekend, they got copyrighted. They got a strike on their site. For what reason, I don't know. Derogatory of spam and whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. Some bullshit that YouTube comes up with. They didn't do a damn thing wrong. They just live streamed their show, which was Fight Back, Saturday night, even though it took place the previous night, but they thought, we'll do it the previous night and then we'll air it for free Saturday night on the YouTube channel. No problem whatsoever. But apparently it was a problem to YouTube, because YouTube considered that spam, practical offense. I don't know what the fuck it was. It's just YouTube bullshit at its blatant best, and WCPW was forced to take it down. And now they have had a strike on their account, which ultimately leads them to no longer have rights for now at least, their live streaming has been revoked. Because that's what happened. If you have a clear account on YouTube, you can do live streams and shit like that, whatever the fuck you want, no matter how you want. But now that WCPW's YouTube channel, I don't know about the What Culture one, but I would imagine it's WCPW's YouTube channel can no longer live stream because of this bullshit. And that's exactly what it is, guys. Bullshit. WCPW, and not only that, YouTubers as well are getting publicized and punished by YouTube for the love that they have, the passionate love that they have. And like me, I'm a passionate wrestling fan too. I'm just not on the level of some of these guys yet. I like to be in the future, but I am just not on the level of some of these guys yet. They're getting punished for the love of wrestling, for the love and the passion that they have for professional wrestling. And quite frankly, it's disgusting, and it disgusts me big time. I said this on Beam when I was chatting to somebody in a stream, that these guideline changes that YouTube are executing, if you can use that word, it's going to cost them big. If they keep this garbage up, right? If they keep this up, what they're doing, it's going to cost them a lot more than they think. Because YouTube at the moment right now is dying a slow, painful death, really, due to all these changes that they're making. I don't know what the hell is going on, and quite frankly, I could care less about it. But it's spoiling for what people are trying to do. It's spoiling the effect of YouTube and how people look to make an income and everything. And basically, the changes, the guidelines, is spoiling YouTube full stop. I mean, JD from New York said it best. The beautiful thing about being a wrestling fan is you get to meet people and become friends with people you've never even met in your life. But the reason why you've become friends with that person that you've never even met over the internet or whatever the fuck, because of one thing, it's wrestling. I have a Facebook page. I have a new Facebook page, considering what happened with Facebook on there, you sons of bitches. But I have a Facebook right now, and a majority of the people who I've got as friends are wrestling fans who I've never even met in my life. But they're my friends on there for one simple reason, because we love to talk wrestling. We talk wrestling. I host a podcast. I bring some of these people on. I bring them onto the podcast. We record a podcast. I air it on whatever sites I'm on, YouTube, SoundCloud, and whatever the fuck. And we sat there for God knows, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, because we talk wrestling. We love the art of this beautiful sport, and I said that wrong there, sport, we call professional wrestling. Why? Because we love it. And you've got these morons, and I'll say that, these idiots, YouTube, fucking spoiling it for everybody. Give you a couple of examples. WCPW YouTube channel aired a video. It was a free match, or it was a wrestling match, involving Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, and Rey Mysterio. That got 1.2 million viewers. Over 1 million views. Why? Probably because it was Alberto and fucking Rey Mysterio. Because they're good. There's no question about it. But that got 1.2 million views, if I was told correctly. It was over 1 million views, nonetheless. But the revenue that video got was $43. Another example. Grimmy on YouTube as well. Grim's Toy Shop thing on YouTube as well. He does wrestling content. He promotes, he does wrestling stuff as well on YouTube as well. Has this whole friggin' room full of toys on there of wrestling. The guy's after my own heart, for Pete's sake, because I used to be like that as well when I was a kid. I used to raid toy shops and shit like that for wrestling figures and shit. I've got a box of wrestling figures in my damn attic, for crying out loud. But this guy aired a video that only made $12. Think about it. If that makes him $12, can you imagine how much people are getting, like, podcasts again? Like, for example, JD from New York. He can't be making that much money either. And it's all because of YouTube, because YouTube are punishing these people for the love of wrestling. And it's not right. Heelbook has a petition, right? I promoted this on my podcast. I left it in the description of the podcast, which is on YouTube, on this Wrestling Madness channel. Go and look it up, okay? There'll be a link of it at the end of this video as well, if you're watching this on YouTube. There's sign in there. I'll put this petition in there as well, in the comments below. I'll pin it up in the top of the comments. Go and sign it. It'll be in the description as well. Please go and sign it. Last time I checked, it should pass the 35 mark. It was about 40,000 at the most. It might be over that now as we're doing this. It could be over 50,000 for all I know. But last time I checked, it was 40,000. Could be, like I say, it could be over 50,000 right now as this has gone out and everything like that. I don't know. Go and check it out. Please sign it. If you are a true wrestling fan and believe what people like myself and JD from New York and other wrestling people on YouTube, wrestling content on there as well, believe that wrestling is not offensive, sign that petition, and let's take that petition and shove it in YouTube's faces. Because no matter how many people sign that petition, YouTube can only see so much. I mean, can you imagine what WWE must be going through, for crying out loud? These guys clean up their promotion, their business and everything to the PG era, and they're promoting and showing these videos, and obviously they'll show free matches on their YouTube channel as well, you know, free matches from the past. I know, because I'm a subscriber and I've seen it myself, and I've watched some of the matches on there as well. Even build up matches from last year's Extreme Rules to get your mouth watering for this year's, although it was probably a waste of time. But could you imagine what they're going through? If people like Grimmy's making $12 for a video, or if WCPW are making $43 for a match on friggin' YouTube involving Alberto El Patron and Rey Mysterio, can you imagine what WWE must be making now? Huh? And can you imagine what WWE must be fucking going through with their stuff, cleaning up their act and everything? And apparently YouTube deems that as offensive, not ad friendly content. The whole thing is fucking bullshit, and quite frankly it pisses me off, and this is me speaking, okay? If anybody's listening to this thinking, oh, you're ranting up, I don't give a flying fuck, okay? I am a passionate wrestling fan that agrees with everything that's been said. YouTube is out of control, and something needs to be done about it. And that's why there's this thing going out right now saying stand up for wrestling. Hashtag it on YouTube, hashtag it on freaking Twitter, hashtag it on Facebook, hashtag it on whatever social media site you can go. Wrestling is about a community. It's not about hate or anything like that. Granted, I've met some wrestling fans that I'd rather not meet again, I'll be honest with you, because they're either deluded or stupid or anything like that. But the beauty about a wrestling community is everybody has an opinion about professional wrestling, whether they're right, whether they're wrong, take it, okay? Wrestling fans that have an opinion and think they're right, they're not wrestling fans, in my mind. And they're the people I do not want to be around. Everybody has an opinion, and they're not always right, and they're not always wrong. Like, I have an opinion on this show. Like, probably JD from New York has opinions on his show. Like, other people who do their wrestling promotions and their wrestling podcast as well. Hell, Stone Cold as well. People have an opinion about professional wrestling. People are not always right. But at the end of the day, wrestling is a community. A community of fans that give a flying fuck about this one thing we all love, and that's wrestling. It brings people together. It brings strangers together. It brings everybody together. And YouTube is disrespecting it, and quite frankly, I don't like it one bit. To put a bottom line on this, guys, stand up for wrestling, because wrestling matters, and hopefully we can do something about it. Sign the petition, and let's hopefully put an end to this. Wrestling matters, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys, we got that out the way. Let's get into Extreme Rules, but before I do, just quickly, if you want to see the Fight Back show from WCPW, go onto their Facebook page, the WCPW Facebook page, okay, which is, I'm guessing, facebook.com/WhatCultureProWrestling. So look it up on there as well. More on that in a second. Now I'm going to get to the main event, which is Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules, ladies and gentlemen, took place this past Sunday. I'm not going to talk about the kickoff show, because I've seen the kickoff show and I couldn't care less about the kickoff show. Kalisto beating Apollo Crews. Nobody cares about Titus Brand. Nobody cares about anything of it, to be honest with you. And nobody cares about Apollo either. Now, it kicked off with Dean Ambrose and The Miz. This was an okay match, actually, to be honest, considering the stipulation, the lazy booking, if you will. But other than that, it was an okay match. Both men did good and everything. There was wrestling in it as well, and both men showed great wrestling in the match. It was actually a wrestling match for a majority of the match anyway, towards the end. But Miz was working the leg, Dean Ambrose's leg, trying to use the figure four to his advantage as well, the move he learned from Ric Flair. But obviously, you will know at all points of the match, Miz tried to use that DQ stipulation to his advantage, trying to force Dean Ambrose into making a disqualification so he can have the belt. One prime example, during the match, his wife, Maurice, slaps Miz to try and cause a disqualification on Dean Ambrose's behalf, but it backfired because the referee wasn't buying it, and she ended up getting kicked out. But then Maurice wouldn't go in that, and then Miz grabs out of Dean Ambrose, throws him into the referee. Referee was teasing a disqualification on Dean Ambrose's part. I don't know why he didn't do it, but he did. And Miz hit the skull-crushing finale in the ring, and then referee decides to get back in the ring. Instead of making the DQ decision that he was going to make, he runs back in the ring and counts the 1, 2, 3, and Miz is the 7th time Intercontinental Champion. Now that's out the way, that could only mean one thing, ladies and gentlemen. The inevitable seems to be happening, ladies and gents, and that is to do with Roman Reigns. Yeah. We discussed this. There was rumours flying around that this was going to happen. And it seems it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not. Because the rumour was, or the mill was, that Dean Ambrose was meant to drop the title, the Intercontinental Championship, to The Miz. And then Miz was then meant to drop the title to one Roman Reigns. Now, I'll get to the Fatal 5-Way match in a second. But yeah, it seems the inevitable is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Because it seems, unless SummerSlam rolls around the corner or something, I'm pretty much going to be guessing that it's going to be a Great Balls of Fire. It's going to be Miz defending the Intercontinental Championship against Roman Reigns. Oh joy. So, will it happen? I hope it doesn't happen, but the seeds have been planted. The seeds have been planted. Next was a match that, to be honest with you, I couldn't care less about, to be honest. Rich Swann, Sasha Banks. Apologies for my phone in the background there, guys. Shut up. Yeah, the mixed tag match. Rich Swann, Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox and Noam Dar. I couldn't give two flying fucks about this match, to be honest with you. It was good for what it was. Just a simple old mixed tag match. And Rich Swann and Sasha Banks got the victory. Nothing really big went down in this match. Nothing really major went down in this match. And I didn't really have any, interest or hype for this match whatsoever. Then there was a very weird Elias Samson concert. What the fuck was that about? I don't know. It made no sense whatsoever. I didn't get it, to be honest. But Elias Samson singing in the ring, playing a guitar. If you're going to give him a match, you should have just gave him a match, but it made no sense. And then we moved on to be honest with you, probably the worst match I've seen in a while. And definitely the worst match of the night. And this is not a knock on the women who were involved in this match, but these guys got a royal screw job in this match. And I'm talking about Bayley and Alexa Bliss, the kendo stick match. This was awful. Absolutely awful match. And like I say, I'm not berating two talented girls because they're talented. These two could have had, you'd have been basically just putting this a one-on-one match. This was probably the worst match on the card. The kendo stick was hanging on the pole. It took them 2 minutes. There was like no build in towards getting the kendo stick like there usually was. If you look back in the nightstick match one time with Boss Man and Nails, there was wrestling, I could say 10 minutes of it towards building into them getting the nightstick so they could use it. It took them 2 minutes to get the nightstick. 2 minutes and the nightstick was down of the match. 2 minutes of the match came down. Bayley didn't even use that. It was mainly Alexa Bliss. They had Bayley to the point where she was too afraid to use it. She didn't want to use it, and it backfired on her. Bayley got no credibility in this match whatsoever, and she got fucked over basically. And then Bayley gets shoved into the corner. The stick was wedged in the corner. Bayley gets shoved right into it, shoulder joint first, head first, right into the corner through the stick basically. I don't know if the thing broke, but Bayley came back. Alexa Bliss hits the DDT and gets the victory. The match lasted at least about 5 minutes at the most. It was awful. Absolutely awful match. And I feel sorry for the two, especially Alexa Bliss, since she's supposed to be the Raw Women's Champion. She got royally, the both of them got royally fucked over in my eyes. This was just a god-awful match, and it was the worst match of the night in my opinion. To be honest, I wouldn't be in a hurry to see this match again. If I wanted to go back and watch the match, I'd probably watch the whole pay-per-view and skip the match because it was bad. Really, really bad. Anyway, moving on from stupidity and low moments. Raw Tag Team Titles cage match. The cage was used as a weapon in this match. Two great teams going at it. Unbelievable stuff. Just phenomenal wrestling for a cage match at least, because it was a tornado cage match. There was no like tags ins and out kind of thing. It was just a 2-on-2 cage match. Jeff manages to get out of the cage, which led to Matt being in a 2-on-1 position with Cesaro and Sheamus. Great double teams before that though by both teams. These two, in my opinion, are the top two teams on Raw. No doubt about it. Jeff tried to get into the match as well. Sheamus hit white noise from the top rope, which was on Matt, which looked brutal. I can imagine, you can only imagine taking white noise on the canvas, from not on the top rope. He took it from the top of the rope, and wow. And then Sheamus and Cesaro win the tag team titles because Jeff saw what was going on and realized he had to do something. So he gets on the cage, or he climbs right all the way back up to the top of the cage, and like I predicted in many predictions a while ago and everything, when this was going to take place, I knew, and this match was announced, I knew Jeff Hardy was going to do something nuts, because Jeff Hardy is a crazy bastard. He's a crazy motherfucker, and he proved it in this match today with the fucking whisper in the wind from the top of the cage. It's not the first time he's done that. He has done that before, but I knew he was going to do something crazy. You know, that's just Jeff Hardy to a T. But that cost them the match in my eyes, because Matt was on the verge of trying to get out to the to the ring to win the match, because you could only win by escape, and Matt had to come back in and pull Jeff Hardy carcass out with him so they could win the match. But as they were doing that, Sheamus and Cesaro climbed over the cage, hit the floor, and became the new Raw World Tag Team Champions as well, which was a shame that it's the end, basically the end of an era, or the end of a couple of months' reign for the World Tag Team Championships of Hardys. I don't know where this is going to go, to be honest now. Maybe we see with the Broken, where these two split up. We don't know. Be interesting to see. Will they get another run with the tag team title? We don't know. But Cesaro and Sheamus are the tag team champions. Neville wins with Red Arrow to the back and hits the rings of Saturn in what was a close match. Don't get me wrong. It was a close match, but I kind of saw this coming in the way because they gave Austin Aries, and this was the Austin Aries submission match with Neville for the Cruiserweight title, by the way. They gave Austin Aries the big salute, if you will, the big go-over on Raw. And I think this has been spoiled because I believe Austin Aries should have won the title. I believe Aries should have won the championship, to be honest. But it is what it is. Neville king of the Cruiserweight still. Where he goes from this, I don't know. It was a good match for what it was and the time they had. Good stuff as well. One point in the match, Aries went for a dive and Neville just moved out the way and he dived right into the barricade and everything like that. I swear to God, if you look back on the replay, watch the match again and watch the replay after the match, it looked awful. It was a case of Austin Aries, now you see him, now you don't. He just disappeared like that. It was great, but it did look awful as well. But yeah, it was a good match. It was an average match, but it was very close. Don't get me wrong. Both men could have won the match as well, but Neville hits Red Arrow, like I say, onto the back area and then hits the rings of Saturn and becomes the champion, and still is the champion, quite frankly. A lot to say, but yeah, wasn't really the best match of the night. Let's just say that. 5-way elimination. A lot of rumours about this match. A lot of way things were going to go down. Roman was in control early on for most of the match, and he seemed to be playing a game of, as well, pick your spot moment, let the others fight it off and everything, and then you come in and pick your spot kind of thing, and, take advantage of that as well. Majority of this match saw Bray Wyatt and Samoa Joe teaming up. They did because they absolutely dominated Finn Balor at one point, hitting the running senton while the chair was on Balor as well. Both of them did it as well, and they just used their double team experts as well, or tried to at least. But the highlight of the match for me was 3 things. 1, Joe had Kikita clutch on Finn Balor on the outside. Roman speared both of them right through the barricade. Unbelievable. And while that, I don't know who it was. I believe it was Seth. No, actually, no. Stand corrected. I believe it was either Finn who set up Bray on the announce table. Seth Rollins goes up on top. While that took place, the spear through the barricade, does a frog splash and drives Bray Wyatt through the table. The announce table. Spanish announce table. Poor bastards. But my favourite part of the match for me was Finn Balor. Finn Balor got on the apron, saw Roman Reigns, and did one of them soccer kicks. And I swear to God, look back on there, it looked like he kicked his head off. I swear to God, he hit bullseye. And all the Roman haters probably enjoyed that, but it really looked brutal. It looked like he basically just kicked his head off, and it was my favourite point in the match, man, because he didn't half hit bullseye on that. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. And there was a battleground from last year moment with Roman and Seth as well, with the proverbial turnbuckle bomb, and then Roman comes out and Superman punches Roman, but that didn't happen that much because Finn came in, mounted the fight back, and did very well. Came in, hit that double drop kick into the corner turnbuckle that he does on Roman, goes up on top, goes for the coup de grace, hits it, but as he's about to make the cover, Joe comes in and basically just chokes him out with a Kikita clutch, and the dream match is on, ladies and gentlemen. The dream match is on for a pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire. I still can't believe that exists, but a pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire, we are going to see Samoa Joe one-on-one with Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. So the rumors were true. They decided to go with that instead of going with Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar, excuse me, they went with Samoa Joe instead, which I don't have a problem with it because I actually want to see this match myself. So I will be watching that pay-per-view, despite the fact of the name of it, and I will be watching that pay-per-view, and I'm going to enjoy that match because it's going to be a badass match, and that takes place in 5 weeks' time on the WWE Network. So there you have it, guys. Okay pay-per-view for Extreme Rules. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to end this podcast here, but I am going to do something that I kind of don't want to do, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. You will get the audio again on SoundCloud if you listen to this on SoundCloud. But if you want to check this out on YouTube, I will put all the links and descriptions and shit like that in the description below as well. This is an Extreme Rules combination, but it's all about the YouTube wrestling scandal that's been going on. I'm very passionate about this. YouTube is wrong, and if you don't believe me and all these other ones, I am going to play the video clip, because he actually said it himself. Adam Blumpier said it himself. Share this video as much as you can. So I'm going to, okay? You'll probably be able to see this. Maybe you may have seen this on the WCPW YouTube channel as well. And I'm going to play it here on the wrestling, on this video, on this audio as well. I'm going to play the video for the YouTube. You'll get the audio on there as well, on the SoundCloud as well, if you're checking this out on SoundCloud. But if you want to see, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're about to watch the clip of him and his speech, because it makes perfect sense. And it's absolutely spot on in what he's saying as well. And he says it better than I ever did or anybody else ever did. So enjoy this video. I'll leave it here with you. Check out episode 167 of the Wrestling Matters podcast coming next Monday. Hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast as well. I will leave you with the video of Adam's speech. And until then, guys, stand up for professional wrestling. Hashtag stand up for wrestling. Wrestling matters. Thank you, and I'll see you later. Peace.
12 months ago, WCPW held its first tapings in a warehouse in Newcastle with a broken roof. Back then, the idea of us doing a wrestling promotion was a very silly idea. 12 months later, it is still a very silly idea. But we are still here! We're here in Manchester for WCPW Fight Back. This night was supposed to be the first night of the new series of WCPW Loaded.
Language. There are children watching this show, don't you know?
No. Okay. I understand, and thank you. Owing to YouTube guidelines, it's not possible for us to give you a free weekly wrestling show on YouTube, and honestly, that kills us. But it's not about cussing out YouTube, okay? Because speaking hate, that's part of what got us into this mess, okay? So here's what happened. For the uninitiated, certain YouTubers preaching hate had adverts in front of their videos, which led advertisers to flee YouTube. To counter this, YouTube has drastically reduced the monetization of what it deems to be inappropriate content, and that includes wrestling. And that is why we're here. That's why we're doing this show for free on our YouTube channel rather than putting it behind our paywall, What Culture Extra, which we could do, and that's the only way we'd really make money off this show. We're running this show at a loss. I mean, you guys have bought your tickets, and that's paid for the wrestlers, because, just to address online, we always pay our wrestlers. But here's why I'm here. It's because this is a statement. That's what this show is. It's a statement to YouTube that wrestling does not deserve to be classified, tarred with the same brush as hate speech, because what hate speech does is it tears people apart. What wrestling does is it brings all of these people together here tonight. Wrestling is about creating a community. That's what every promotion does. Progress has its family, so does Rev Pro, so does Fight Club Pro, so does ICW. WWE has its universe. WWE is being affected by these changes. It's got to the point where I'm standing in this ring trying to make Vince McMahon money. But no, they all deserve to make that money, because YouTube, it allows us to reach our community of fans that we are building. That's what culture is. It's a community of fans who love wrestling, because wrestling, it's an art form. Wrestling is an art form. Am I wrong or am I right?
But the only thing I agree with this man on.
Thank you, one person. But we want to do this show for free. We're going to cut this segment out and we're going to put it on our YouTube channel along with the rest of the show for free because we want you at home, we want you to share this video. We want you to, at YouTube, there is a petition going around by Heelbook. That petition wants wrestling to be removed from inappropriate content. We officially endorse that petition. We're going to put it in the description underneath this video. Read it, sign it, share it. That's what this is about. It's about making sure that wrestling gets the respect that it deserves. Okay? And I am going to go, okay? This is, because we're here to a wrestling show, aren't we? But just one time on this show, on a platform which can be shared, please share this video everywhere you can. I want you all to stand, if you can, for me, please. Stand. And I just want you, for everyone listening at home, for everyone at YouTube who may see this, I want you to make some noise for how much you respect professional wrestling. These people are loyal fans, and they deserve the sport they love to be treated with the respect it deserves. Thank you. Thank you so much for this.